Welcome to my podcast Magic Brain Kicks, a new English episode. I invited a CEO, a founder, and a very tough lady. Her name is M Baum. She is a CEO and founder at W Lounge and Magda Group and has 20 years experience in founding companies and supporting companies. She's also a business angel. Yes, welcome, Mali.
Thank
Nice
you.
to have you here and to hear about your experience. And of course, you are creating the tech scene in Berlin, especially, but also in Europe, and supporting all these things, especially all the female founders. And of course, I'm very interested how you grow up and what are your main steps to be the person you now are.
Grew up because I didn't have any choice. Because once you start to run your own business, you learn through, I would say, challenges and finding solution. Or even like if you will look on these days, we are not meeting in my office because it's Corona,
yes.
Let's call it. You need to reinvent yourself so fast. And do things that it's not harming the business. And this is what we're doing these days. So I think this is how I grew up. I built 4 companies before coming to Berlin while I was still in Tel Aviv. The last one was for 8 years. We had a brand that developed and designed and manufacturing for educational toys for kids.
Educational choice.
Yes. The R&D was in Tel Aviv, while the factories, we had the head factories in China, in Dongguan area, which is Shenzhen. So I had 2 small kids at home and I had a lot of help, of course, around. And the company needed to grow. We had 3 rounds of investments. So I think this is a huge part of who I am today. Eventually, market after market, it's kind of like, building a new relationship after new relationship. The main market was the US, of course, early adopters and very attractive innovation. I was traveling a lot, and everything I'm doing today is kind of like puzzle of many things I did before. Because if I would look on the best deals that I brought to the company were through networks, were through organization that I was part of. Like, for example, it was a Women in Toys Licensing and Entertainment in New York, which every year we celebrate the winners of the industry, which were women. The board member we were only women, and the guys were more than welcome and huge supporter. So it was me with my small, I would say, company and huge names like, Bye Bye Baby, Walmart, Target, and so on and so on. So that was a huge learning, path. And I have amazing friends that are with me until today. It doesn't matter that it is not my industry anymore. Yeah. But I would say shutting a lot of fires, dealing with obstacles, dealing with problems. This is building your personality.
Yeah, of course, yes.
And when I came to Berlin, I saw many things, but absolutely a blue ocean. I saw that there's nothing like in Israel or Silicon Valley or New York that actually gather professional women. That's the core. That was the target. But also leave the door open for the good guys that really want to really see more women into business, into investment, into bankers, into decision makers, into politics, and so on. So to be very honest, I don't know how to do NGOs. So I started it very kind of like, organically. And at some point I saw that there is huge need. And, the network grew up super fast, like thousands of ladies at the beginning. And I thought, okay, this is a huge need, even more than other ecosystems that I knew before. So I built W Lounge, of course, not alone, always with great people and amazing supporters. And today, they are ambassadors, they are part of the team, like everything. And W Launch is absolutely not about me. It's something bigger than I am. This is an ecosystem. This is a network. This is a huge door for skills, open doors for capitals, use all my network locally and not locally to see much more, I would say, to see bigger or the biggest support that we can provide to the younger generation, to the ecosystem. When it comes to women, it's absolutely my main passion. But to be very honest, I have a boy at home and I have a daughter as well. So they need the same support. So I'm supporting both genders. But I do see that women need different things. Much more encouragement, much more mentorship, things that I'm learning through process. Sometimes you have the right state of mind, sometimes not, but it doesn't say you cannot be successful. So we help also with mentorship. I mean, you saw Janine at the workshop. She is leading coaching and workshops because eventually, you can open doors for capital, but if they are not ready for this or not ready for success, the success will never come.
Yes. So you do all the mindset work with mindset, no? Okay. Yes.
Yeah. So when you are an ecosystem, it's good to work with, M&A, venture capitals. I mean, this is my core, to be very honest. This is why I'm supporting the Berlin Senate initiatives and the Wirtschaftsministerin and so on. It mainly comes to investment. But I think Berlin is still, I don't want to say 20 years, but I would say 10 years behind, which means it's still dealing with the mindset, still dealing with dare to dream big. Last October we did the Oscar. It's literally the Berlin Tech Oscar, and part of the startup came from Tel Aviv, but actually we had so many decision makers on the same hall in Waldorf Astoria, and send a lot of message that the older generation, the family offices, the corporates, they need to open their pocket, but they also need to support much more absolutely women, but absolutely also younger generation. And this is the local things that I'm putting a lot of attention on, because this is very different.
Yeah, okay, I see. Yes. I would like to, one step, when you say you had a company with educational toys. For me, it's because it's the main step, as you said, for creating your personality, for all these learnings you have now in this W Lounge, or set up in this W Lounge. What was the idea? How did you get this special business, and what was the motivation, and how big was this company?
Back then I was super young mom, 25. My husband was an industrial designer. He also started to design for the biggest name in the industry. And at some point we say, why wouldn't we gather forces and do it something on our own? That wasn't the first company, so we came very ready for that. We brought partners and investors and so on, and we were the co-founder, but super fast we had like other partners and employee and so on. So I think always kind of like I'm building companies or product that they are coming to do an impact, to make an impact. It's not kind of like, okay, so I want only to sell toys. It was really a pain point that we saw as a parent, that we didn't have enough time we didn't have enough time with our kids. So we said like, okay, there's huge brand out there. Why we will be so unique? So I know he's a genius when it's come to branding and design, but the storytelling was that you don't have enough time with your kids. This is our generation. Yeah. And we wanted to focus on one specific category. So we aim to bring great storytelling with amazing characters, with a lot of, emotional connections. Okay. And through this, we built, let's say, a bus developmental toys. So we worked with, I would say, experts that why the water are actually super important for the babies and the kids to develop. And on top of it, bringing the right stories, characters, and so on. So that was really great success because we found a niche that no one really touched as an expert. And if we move to W Lounge, I also see it as there are so many, let's call it communities or whatever, but we really managed to touch something that no one else touching, which means it's also bringing you the mindset as an entrepreneur to entrepreneur, and not like only, I don't know, as a coach, which I'm not, but yes, I'm doing a lot of mentorship, Techstars and so on, because I believe that great investments are there. But at some point, it's really bringing what the ecosystem need. So probably it's the same question also for W Launch and the fund. Why to raise these companies is because I see the pain point and I see the solution that we are bringing.
Can you give some examples for current niches or current solutions? Because of course we are now globally in a special situation. There is a climate change, there is now the coronavirus, and many, or the whole tech scene, digitalization or AI or whatever. And what are the main areas you think about when you say niche or solutions?
So the superpower really start, and I learned that from people that telling me, superpower really start from the network. Let's say you are a startup from Berlin. Let's say you're really smart and talent, and let's say you have the right mindset. I mean, most of them, the good one already have that. And then you need to grow. So you don't have access to money, access to venture capital, access to public money. You don't know even that this is existing and how to reach out. You don't know how much the European Commission is into it and really, really want to invest more. When it comes to women, when it comes to younger generation, when it comes to specific pillars like impact or green tech and so on. And this is knowledge, and knowledge is a power. And this is the power of W Lounge. And then let's say you're super successful, but you need to raise huge amount of money to open the American market, or to even relocate part of your team or build a new team. Again, it's coming back to the network that we do have and build in America, in China, or absolutely Israel, or in another things like investors that's searching for, or corporates, M&A that's searching for investments, so open the Israel market for them, open doors in New York and so on. So it's more about really doing and not only talking about that. I know you came to the workshop, and the workshop, if you saw the people that were like speakers are doers, they are not kind of like, okay, let's talk about some method. There are people that dealing with this topic every day, and each one of them I know in person, and they're coming to me with their pain points. So sometimes W Launch is helping to solve their pain points. Sometimes it's hire more women, sometimes it's HR topics, which I'm totally not, but hey, we have the experts. So these experts, and mostly, as you saw, I'm putting women on the forefront because they become a role model. Not because they are women, because they are really doing great stuff. So you saw SAP, you saw Flaconi, you saw the guy from Project A, and other companies, and they are really people that doing this every day. So they are the best people to reach out when you have a problem, when you really want to approach diversity and inclusion, specifically for this workshop, as a key for success, because this is not a charity. This is not a social. This is pure for the numbers, for the business.
For business, yes. That was very interesting for me, because there was a lot of power, especially in this workshop you mentioned. And of course, they are all doers, as you said. No? They have a great experience when it comes to diversity, to create new work situations, to create solutions. And it was very impressive. When we or have a concrete an example. When there is a woman or a guy or whatever who has a tough idea, what should he or she do to connect with W Launch? What are the first steps? What has to prepare or what?
Something is very important for me. I'm most reachable person on earth. Like, it's super easy to reach out to me. My LinkedIn is like my email.
Okay.
The W Launch email is always, open. The team as well. Everyone are super, super communicators. This is the base.
Okay.
I mean, I love it. We are talking on time that we are isolated at home. Like, I cannot tell you how much I miss.
Yes, but of course, a good connection via Zoom today.
And like, even in my office, you will see that we all have like open door. We for me, myself, I have like 2 days that I'm blocking 2 hours for those people that reaching out, say, "Hi Mali, can we have a coffee? Hey Mali, can you reach out? Can you see my pitch deck?" Or whatever. I love it. It's bring amazing people to my life, first of all, and to the network. And second, I feel that we are really, really, I would say, improving the situation.
Yeah.
So we are open. There's no problem to reach out to W Launch. But I will be very honest. If you come to W Launch event for social, you will probably very bored. Because as you saw the women on the stage and also the guys at the audience and on the stage, there are really people that we are working very closely with. And it's kind of like I'm highlighting the champions that sometimes they don't understand that they're champions, and all of them, when we reach out to them, hey, can you mentor someone? Can you help someone and open doors for someone else? We are using the network for good. So I cannot even count the amount of the people that reach out to me, to the team in general, and really got great access.
Now I see, yes. But you have to bring an own idea or your experience and create a business plan or something?
I mean, sometimes you cannot help someone that not helping himself.
Okay.
Which means you cannot come and say like, hey, I want to build my startup, help me. We don't know how to help. I mean, it's very easy to help someone that he has everything and the only thing he needs is network, is capital, it's connections, it's awareness for what he's doing. This is very easy to help talent people. In another hand, I'm also very active in university, so I see people that they don't know what they want to do, but when they are starting to come to the events, suddenly they have a lot of ideas, So of course we cannot support in any level, but when they really need concrete things, W Launch is really there for this.
So the events are although an idea pool or inspiring when you have your mind, you want to found something, to found a company or to bring solutions. You see problems, but you have no idea what the solution.
I mean, if you are 20 something, 25, or whatever in between, or thinking about being an entrepreneur, yes. This is why the events are always open for these people. The events are great for corporates to scout for technology, to scout for people to hire, for startup to hire people, for companies to hire people, for startup to find founders, teams. There's so many things. If we work with partners and their name are like as a leader in this event, so people are coming and reaching out to these corporates for collaboration, for I mean, so many things. You can see even like corporates, they are part of the W Launch ecosystem. They are communicating and collaborating between themselves because we do a lot of introductions between them, and we see things that they cannot see. Like for example, if we work with Flaconi and we know the pain point in a good way, we know how to help them connect them with other partners that deal with the same problem. So events are excused, let's say, excused to gather the right people in the same room.
Oh, okay.
So absolutely, we can do it online, and we are and will doing online as well. But there's nothing like, you know, the feeling and the energy in these events.
Yes, I can imagine that was. It's the same experience to me, but now we have, of course, a special time. We have to do everything online. Therefore, my question: what do you see for the future to connect online and offline, and especially in this current situation? What can we do online, or what is your experience for the future in this?
I'm not, I cannot say what is coming up, of course, but I would love to say that hopefully April will be the last month that we will deal with Corona, and then hopefully everything will move on. And then we'll see great, growth and success because everyone will wake up. But online cannot achieve the same things as offline. So everything that touch conference and things that we are super heavily involved, this is really strong. I mean, we see the impact. We will keep doing everything online because the communication is more important. And when people need to reach out, they don't need to feel that we are not here. So if I'm coming back to my open office, it will be an open office. If it will be like a coaching, like Janine is already doing, and we built like a W Academy specifically for that, it will run. Anyway, but when it comes to this energy, we will try to make as best as we can online as well.
Yeah. It's the same to me. I have a lot of online conferences. I give lectures online and everything, but it's not the same. You have, of course, the direct touch. We are humans, and we love to use all our senses, and that's, of course, a problem.
But this is actually building a new category, which means that it wasn't never as a first priority. But first time easily, not even with budget, we can connect so strongly. My network from New York and Israel and Silicon Valley and China and Berlin and Munich and Leipzig and Frankfurt on the same conference, Usually you need to plan it at least half a year before. So I think this will be the key point to bring people that usually we cannot bring.
That's of course,
Yes.
And can you say something about this Magda group, this fund?
Yes, absolutely. Magda group, okay, so once W Launch became very, I would say, strong and successful, I built another team. Phenomenal people, again, bigger than I am. They are super experienced with the fund and venture capital and bankers and so on. And of course, legal advisors and lawyers and so on. And we build the fund of fund. So everything I mentioned to you right now, imagine how much it's fantastic to see so much money is going through the W Launch, which means we connect corporates and startup and technology and venture capitals and everything and public money. And even Anna, she was on stage to share success stories because she was part of our booth, and then she raised money from SIBB. This is success. This is exactly what I dreamed of. But we are not in the numbers, we are a connector. This is what I wanted for W Launch. This is the aim of W Launch. So imagine on top of it that we have this umbrella, and those corporates that we love and we trust, and they love us and trust us already, and they know the power of the network and what we are capable of, and they are potentially LPs. They are the investors of this umbrella, and this umbrella has most powerful advisors as well, because again, the network is existing. And we are investing between 10 to 12 venture capitals, because I see them as the winners of tomorrow, as the experts, with 5 industry pillars that the network is very strong. And then, which means we have 400, 500 startups under management. And those startups, exactly like I mentioned, when they need to grow, when they see their numbers as an investor, we can lift them up super quickly in terms of like connect them to follow-on investment, connect them to the market, and absolutely bring much more deal flow into these venture capitals, locally and globally. So this is all about Magda Group, and Magda Group is a lady, but she's not only super powerful and smart and know how to connect the dots, but she's also know how to write the big checks. It has to come from a woman. And this is not me, you understand. This is something bigger than I am. And a lot of people got really related to the mission. And this is my time to also bring smart money to Europe, to Germany, to Berlin, with other investors that are not only in Germany, but absolutely putting a lot of efforts to the local family offices and M&As, because it's this is the core. This is something that it's going to disrupt Europe, and I want it to be very, very proud from Berlin, but to have a lot of support from global companies, because this is the way to grow.
Yes, that sounds like a great vision, and I just love this this lady Magda.
To connect W Lounge with Magda, we actually built, you can see it on W Lounge website, hashtag I'm a Magda. And this is something we launched last year, also with great people, great partners, investors, also from New York, also from Berlin. And this is actually making women business ready, because Magda Group is absolutely going to invest in diverse team, in venture capital that's showing diverse portfolio. But this movement is actually something that connects between W Lounge and Magda Group, because eventually there's no great investor without a network. This is become not only the money, but smart money or strategic money. And I'm a Magda is mainly for the guys that still, they are the one that moving the needle, and they need to, or I would say we help them to raise awareness how to support women more, invest in her, mentor her, open doors for her. You know, sometimes this is his daughter, sometimes it's his wife, sometimes it's a pupil in university, but this is a lot of mindset.
Yeah.
And this is connecting the network and with, pure fund, investment fund.
Wow, yes. And as you said in the beginning that Berlin, when we come back to Berlin, the Berlin scene is 10 or 20 years behind, you said. But
people won't kill me.
I hope not. We can.
No, but it is. Come on, like we know that it is. We have long time. I mean, we have very good things here, but we have a long way to grow.
Yes. And what do you think has to be done to push it a little bit forward, so that perhaps in the next 20 years it's front of the line?
I mean, I live in Berlin for 6 years. I already see a huge change.
Okay.
Growth. It's like I always said, like if Tel Aviv did it in 20 years, we can do it in 5. It's a lot of politicians that involved and have the willingness, and they have, which I'm very happy to see. And the key is the capital. Like in Tel Aviv, the American came, the Chinese came, a bit recently German, but it's all foreign money. Here, I always said, like as an Israeli, you have to go outside to raise money. But here we have the money. We have all the ingredients to make it success. So if you raise your startup in New York, you can dream about public money. No, I mean, and even though the cake is super small. And here we have it, which is a huge benefit. I mean, this is really the place to be an entrepreneur. But when it comes to how to make it happen, it's all about still the families and the corporates that should open the pocket faster and bigger,
Mm.
because they need to understand that they have a great history, entrepreneurship history, let's call it, but they have to adapt technology. They have to adapt the younger generation to keep themselves successful.
Mm.
So it's a win-win situation, and we don't see it yet, not in the numbers and the level that we need to see it.
Mm. Yes, yeah, because there is a little bit, they are scared about the new technologies, perhaps the AI or machine learning or whatever you say, and to connect the old, yes, I would say industries or entrepreneurs with these new possibilities. And it's of course also a question of generation, perhaps. Yeah, and to connect.
Yeah, but when it comes to business, you know, you need to understand what will keep your business on track. Yeah. And right now, this is the technology, only the technology.
Yeah. And therefore, the main point for all what you do is to push these
I mean, don't get me wrong. There are amazing individuals that are doing a lot. Yeah. Families that I won't name the names, but they are doing phenomenal things already, which means, again, it's happening. It just needs to be happen faster and bigger.
Yeah, okay. Yes, to sum all this up, what are your main tips or tasks for the next 5 or 10 years, or this decade, when it comes, or the time after Corona, I would say. Of course, now it's a little bit, but after Corona, what can we learn? It's of course also a learn this crisis we are now, or this challenge we are now all in.
I mean, I think you see it yourself. I had a great conversation with the European Commission, the EIC, 2 days ago, and we all talked about what we can do more, definitely for the, you know, even Corona. Again, everything is go to technology. But what I see is that we need to communicate more. And this is the problem in Germany. The parts are not communicate enough. Corporates are not having the right access to the ecosystem, and startups don't have the right access to venture capitals and corporates. Absolutely, when it comes to politicians, great stuff are happening, but not necessarily it's, you know, going all the way to the startups, or even like startup within the universities and so on. And I think, I mean, this is why I'm doing what I'm doing. This is mainly communication.
So your advice is for all the parts in the game to communicate more, and to look after networks like W Launch or V Launch, we say in Germany, to find partners, to create networks, and so you are inspired to find solutions.
I mean, there is a sentence to say that you cannot raise really successful company. You know, you cannot raise, how you call it, you cannot raise successful company, or you need a huge village to have a successful company.
Yes, of course, yeah.
Never mind the word. It's not mine anyway, but it's really like this, you know, it comes from politicians, it goes to the investment, it goes to the venture capital, it's going to education, it goes to the schools, to the teachers, and this is again connecting the dots. And there's no one that can be really, really successful and build a unicorn on himself, you know, like alone.
Yeah. Exactly. So you need this network is the key at the end, no? And to communicate more. And why do you think that especially in Germany, the communication is not so good?
Because I think, which is good, this is why my kids are here, people are not hungry enough, and people are not striving for a change too much. People are okay, which is great, but when it comes to technology, it's super negative.
Okay, so we have to be more hungry and
no. We have to raise the right mindset, and to cherish and to highlight those people that they are entrepreneurs. less the people that willing to be 20 years in one corporate, which is okay. We have to have these people as well. I know, most of them are really good friends of mine and doing fantastic things with the corporates, but we need to have more entrepreneurship mindset.
So the entrepreneurship mindset is of course needed, and we have to learn it already in school, the younger kids. Yes, and that's of course a big challenge to give them more other mindset, more other things.
Inspiration, mindset, role models. I mean, you can name one role models here in Germany. Tell me. Don't say Merkel.
I agree totally. It's difficult.
So if I would touch Israel, I would touch New York. I will name at least 10 women. This is supposed to start in this level.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. So mindset, role model, and of course acting and communicating. That's are the keys. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And to support each other.
Yeah. Yes.
It's not that obviously.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, Mali. It was a pleasure to hear what you, and of course we all want to create the new scene and the new entrepreneur mindset scene, especially in Berlin, as we are both in Berlin.
It's in a doing phase, it's in the making, as we said already. So I'm super happy to have you in the workshop, and I'm sure that we will see you again and again. And as I'm always saying, if you have crazy idea, we are the people to execute that. So I would love to absolutely explore that as well.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mali. And I say goodbye and see you soon, I would say.
Absolutely. Thank you. Have a great day and stay safe. Huh?
Yeah, stay safe. Okay. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.